I'm Len Wardle. I chair the cooperative group. I'm looking forward to the international gathering because we've got people from all over the world coming together, and it's a celebration of the success of cooperatives throughout the world, and it's also planning ahead because the International Year of Cooperation has been a very successful year, and we can't let it just rest at that. So we need to plan for the future so that there's a continuum.
What sessions will you be attending?
Well, I will need to check my diary to see what sessions I'm attending because I'm doing it on a day-to-day basis. So I arrived here on Sunday and I chair the membership committee of the ICA board. So we had a membership committee meeting on Sunday afternoon. Then Monday was all day in Rochdale from 8 o'clock in the morning till 11:30 at night. So that was an ICA board meeting in the town hall hosted by Rochdale Borough Council, and then the official opening of the refurbished and extended museum in Toad Lane, and then dinner in the town hall, and I think there were about 200 people there, again hosted by the leader and the mayor of Rochdale. So that was a fantastic day and a fairly exhausting day in Rochdale. Today, which is Tuesday, we've had a leadership forum this morning where the senior people from cooperatives around the world came together in roundtable discussions looking at what the important issues are for the future.
What do you think the cooperative group could learn from other cooperatives from around the world, and what other cooperatives could learn from the cooperative group's model?
It's interesting because I think we can learn a great deal from each other. And one suggestion that someone made this morning is that we are all isolated co-ops in our own countries, and that we should actually get together more, so that someone said a vision for 2020 for Europe should be one consumer cooperative for Europe. So not the little old or rather large co-op that we've got in UK plus the one in Holland and so on and so forth, but one united consumer cooperative serving members across the continent. And that's a fairly challenging and quite difficult thing to achieve. And I'm not sure whether it's something one would want to achieve, but certainly we don't do enough cross-fertilisation. And one of the things that will be taking place later this week is the CEOs from the consumer COPs in Europe are going to get together again and talk about the possibility of joint buying, because we do need all of us to get better terms for buying so that we can serve our members and customers better. And if we can do something on that scale, that will be very worthwhile.
The blueprint focuses on creating a common cooperative identity. How important is this?
I think it's important in terms of cooperatives' relationships with governments, because it differs in various parts of the world and the laws are different, and we often underestimate the importance of cooperatives in the world to the economy. And as everybody knows, the economy, certainly in Western Europe and many other places, is still struggling. Many countries in Europe, unemployment is 25%. And people have lost confidence in the traditional models of capitalist large companies. And I think there is an opportunity, a unique opportunity, for cooperatives to come forward and fill a void. And it's something that will, I think, resonate with ordinary people because they have trust in cooperatives, and I think they've certainly lost trust in large organisations, and in particular they've lost trust in large banks.
Is there something in particular that the cooperative group has learned from this year?
I think what we've learned is to be humble. We have achieved a lot in the United Kingdom because, as you know, the consumer cooperative in the UK was on the decline, and over a number of years we came together and we have created a large, viable cooperative society, and all the smaller independent societies are part of a buying group with us. Now, so that in itself was a major achievement, but also rebranding and the membership proposition has been a significant achievement. Other people are very keen to learn from us what branding and a common identity can do for them as well. So we have had lots of discussions with other people in other countries, and it is humbling to see what they are doing as well. So we can learn from everybody. And I think one of the most important things about cooperation is you've always got to have your eyes wide open and your ears wide open. So whilst people want to learn from you and you're eager to tell them, you must also listen.
Okay. So what do you think has been one of the most memorable moments this year, the International Year of Cooperatives?
I think the most memorable moment for me was, it was at the beginning, the very beginning, at the launch of the International Year of Cooperation in the United Nations. And there was Dame Pauline Green in the United Nations building at the podium talking to the assembled gathering. And that was quite a moving experience, really, to see, you know, this British woman who used to be, you know, working for the police and worked in the European Parliament and worked in the cooperative movement, speaking, you know, in this very important place, the centre of the United Nations. That was quite moving. I shall always remember that.
What are the key actions that need to be undertaken to ensure the International Year will lead towards a cooperative decade?
Well, we need to make sure there is a legacy. One of the important things that we want to do is to create a cooperative development fund, a global development fund, which is a joint venture between the ICA, the International Cooperative Alliance, and the Cooperative Bank. And what we're trying to do there is to gather a large sum of money, not in small donations. The minimum donation is $250,000. So you've got to be a reasonably successful and large cooperative or organisation to be able to donate that kind of money. And then this money will be used to give loans to cooperatives in developing countries. And it's not a grant, it's a loan. So once they're set up and they're successful, then they will pay it back and the money will be regenerated to others. We think we can also tap into government resources. So we're in discussions with the UK government about them putting some money into it to help with their objectives in generating wealth and prosperity in those developing countries. And it could well be that the World Bank might be tapped for some resource. So it's quite an exciting development, and that will be something that would last, well, forever and ever, because once you've set up a fund and it's successful and the people are repaying their loans, it regenerates and regenerates over a long period of time.
How important is it to have the support of national governments for this blueprint for cooperation?
Well, I think governments have an important role to play. We have never asked in the United Kingdom for any favourable treatment. I know in some countries there may be tax benefits for cooperatives. All we want in the United Kingdom is a level playing field. We don't want to be disadvantaged, but we also want to be on the same footing as ordinary PLC companies. So, for example, in the United Kingdom, the Cooperative Bank is not a cooperative because you cannot be a cooperative bank. You have to be a public limited company. So that is one of the anomalies, for example, that exists here. And other countries have something similar. So one of the things that would be an objective for 2020 would be to have some kind of international understanding of cooperative law. That if people wanted to come together and form a cooperative organisation, they should be able to do so. And the law of any land in the world should allow them to do that. And I think that's something to work towards.
A new cooperative bill is on its way, it's in the draft stage. How much would things change with this?
Not one jot. I think people have been misled. The cooperative bill is a consolidation of what already exists. And they're not going to give us anything extra or anything different. So it is merely a consolidation of lots of old and fairly new laws and regulations. So it would be very nice, and we will ask politely at appropriate times if they can add little bits or change little bits, but I doubt it. The intention of the government was merely to consolidate what already exists and not to give us anything extra.
Would more changes take place if there were more public pressure?
I think, well, one of the things that we have done in recent years, most of the recent cooperative legislation has come about by us helping ourselves through private members' bills. So a private member got a slot in Parliament to take a bill forward, and we had to make sure that the government did object to it. I mean, it's quite an important thing that the government does not object to what you want to do, and that's a different thing from the government helping you to do something. So several of the private members' bills have been very beneficial to us, and we worked with governments, both Labour and Conservative, to make sure they did not object. We're working on one at the moment, and we will see if that is successful, but watch this space. One of the things that we are keen to develop, because I mentioned earlier about what things we would like to see, is a better mechanism for cooperatives to raise capital. It's easier for public limited companies to raise capital, and if cooperatives are to be successful and to expand and to benefit the economy, we need easier access to capital.